the rural communities, but actually doing the opposite. Long segment coming up. We're going to get more into your deep research and your book and how people can get it. We're also going to give a website out where folks can learn about all of your wonderful work, a true value to humanity historically, so we don't repeat this. We'll be right back with Professor Dikötter.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
You may be arrested and/or subject to other police action.
Tyranny is here. The grim future foretold in 1984 has become reality.
It really says that the state is God.
The United States is now recognized globally as one of the most oppressive police states on Earth. This film conclusively proves the existence of a secret network of FEMA camps, now being expanded nationwide. This documentary exposes how the continuity of government program has established an all-powerful shadow state. Police State 4 chronicles the sickening depths to which our republic has fallen. Prepare to enter the secretive world of emergency dictatorship, body scanners, sound cannons, citizen spies, stage terror, and cameras on every street corner. It's only the beginning of the New World Order's hellish plan. The police state isn't coming. It's here. Secure your copy today at Infowars.com or see it online in the highest quality at PrisonPlanet.tv.
You've heard Alex explain how the Silver Lungs generator infuses the respiratory system with your self-produced colloidal silver solutions, yet many are unaware of the entire function of the Silver Lung system and how it has been designed to deliver your silver solutions anywhere in or on the body. My name is Mario Cifaldi, and I'm the developer of the Silver Lungs generator. Not only does the Silver Lung system produce endless colloidal and ionic silver solutions, it also comes equipped with the proper applicators and devices needed to deliver your silver solutions directly to key target areas. This includes the eyes, ears, nose, lungs, topically to the skin, and orally for the digestive system. Be sure to watch our new 7-minute video tour of the Silver Lung system at www.silverlungs.com to learn more about how the Silver Lung system works. As well, we are always ready to answer any questions you may have. That's www.silverlungs.com.
Alex Jones here with urgent information concerning TrendsResearch.com. The Trends Journal distills the voluminous ongoing research of the Trends Research Institute into a concise, readily accessible form. By tracking 300 separately defined domestic and international trends, the Trends Journal establishes the connections that others fail to see or misinterpret. Gerald Salente's Trends Journal allows you to anticipate change, recognize the implications, and take protective strategies. Individual readers from every walk of life can put the Trends Journal Trends Forecast and Trends Analysis to practical use. Extra information to keep you well informed throughout the year when any current event of major social, economic, or political significance occurs. Trends Journal notifies its subscribers of their implications. When you subscribe to the Trends Journal, you'll also receive Trends Alerts. Visit TrendsResearch.com today. That's TrendsResearch.com. Subscribe to the Trends Journal. This information is too important to wait.
Coming at you
Live from Austin, Texas, broadcasting worldwide, it's Alex Jones.
It's a reliable source of information.
Okay, we're back live, and we're talking to Professor Dikötter about Mao Zedong, undoubtedly the greatest mass murderer in human history. But I wanted to read a quote here from the New York Times. We actually went and got this from the microfilm. It's in my film Endgame, Blueprint for Global Enslavement. David Rockefeller wrote for the New York Times, August 10th, 1973, after returning from a successful business trip to China, whatever the price of the Chinese Revolution, it has obviously succeeded in fostering a high morale and community of purpose. General social and economic progress is no less impressive. The enormous social advances of China have benefited greatly from the singleness of ideology and purpose. The social experiment in China under Chairman Mao's leadership is one of the most important and successful in history. And he goes on in the editorial to praise Mao Zedong. We just got some footage from one of our associates that's done graphics work for us of being in major Chinese cities with the youth brigades marching with their red flags just this year. And whenever they want, they beat people up. I mean, that's all part of the fun. And I've got CNN here. CNN tells masses that communism is good for women, despite China's nightmare legacy. What is it like for you, Professor, being one of the most respected researchers on Mao and that communist period? I mean, surely you've noticed all the glorification of Mao in Europe, Canada, the United States. They're putting statues up for him. They're basically saying he's a civil rights icon. Is that disturbing for you?
Yeah, it's quite sickening. Given that what happened only during the Great Leap Forward would be enough to qualify as one of the three greatest man-made disasters of the 20th century. It has to be the Gulag, the Holocaust, and the Great Leap Forward that count as the three greatest disasters that were pretty much man-made. I find it obviously quite sickening. Here is a regime that not only destroyed human beings in the tens of millions, but also everything else that was in its way. That includes untold damage to nature during the Great Leap Forward, with up to half of the forest coverage lost, housing destroyed, up to 40% in some provinces that are the size of a European country like France. 40% of the housing destroyed in the space of 4 years. Transportation system that would grind to a halt with the Great Leap Forward. I mean, collectivization created such damage at every level that the China that existed before 1949 is just gone forever. And there's another kind of damage that was done when people are reduced to doing everything in order to survive, including eating mud or stealing from their own family members. And that is the unraveling of the social fabric and of moral values altogether.
You talk about the raping of the land. The website's frankdikötter.com. We have links to it up on Infowars.com and prisonplanet.com. I mean, why were they destroying so many homes? I read something about, for, quote, fertilizer. Explain that to me.
Well, it sounds extraordinary, but it comes back in every party document that you can find from that period. That initially mud huts were destroyed, or pig sheds, in which animals would have left some organic matter that might be used as fertilizer on the fields. But bit by bit, entire houses are being destroyed. And houses were destroyed for other reasons, not just for fertilizer, but to straighten the roads, or to take bricks in order to build up a people's commune or a canteen, or to punish the people who lived inside because they didn't work hard enough or didn't contribute enough grain to the state. An extraordinary level of destruction.
And, sir, I've also read about in this communist system with the police, they became fat, and all these little petty thugs and psychopaths and control freaks, they all got recruited because a loving, good, decent person couldn't do things like this, so it gravitated towards absolute despotism. Can you talk about that psychology?
Indeed. It isn't just people outside the party who were victims of this, but inside the party members who didn't want to go along with these policies, who objected in some way or another, they too were expelled, purged from the party in the millions. And other much harder, unscrupulous men were recruited to replace them. And they were willing to go along with anything Mao Zedong said. They were willing to very much trim their sails to benefit from these radical winds that were blowing from Peking. So what you get is a party of thugs who are very much willing to do anything to curry favor with the leadership at the time.
History repeats itself over and over again, and people don't recognize it, so they have to live through it. And I see similar trends worldwide today with the recruiting of thugs, but we're in a lot of trouble. Professor, I want to get back into your book and tell folks how they get it and flesh out some of the other incredible groundbreaking research that you've gotten from the Communist Party archives all over China, including local archives. But how much research have you done on the man Mao Zedong? Because I read about him never taking a bath, having sex with 5-10 women a day, just being a singularly disgusting creature.
That is very true, and there's a very good biography by Yong Chang on Mao Zedong as a person. And what comes across when you start having access to the minutes of secret leadership meetings is an image of a man who is extremely stubborn on the one hand, not willing to listen to anybody else, but also extraordinarily vain, in the sense that nobody, including number 2 and number 3 down the line, down the hierarchy of power, are really willing to upset this man. And that's linked to a third characteristic that comes across very clearly, and that's paranoia. Here's a man who is at the head of a one-party state and is constantly fearing that there might be somebody stabbing him in the back, somebody undermining him. So he is very much at the head of a one-party state in which any failure to curry favor or toe the party line results in outright dismissal, or much further down the line to violence of extraordinary proportions.
Sounds like a bigger scale North Korea.
It's very much a bigger scale North Korea. In fact, I made the comparison about a week ago when I spoke to The Independent in England with Pol Pot and the genocide in Cambodia. I described it as 20 times what happened in Cambodia, 20 times what the Khmer Rouge and Pol Pot did.
Unbelievable. I want to get back into that period, those 4 years, 45 million killed in one way or the other. But looking at the fact that near the end, Mao's wife became a scapegoat, though she was just as sickening as he was. I want to speak about her. And then what China has done to get away from that. But I know they still have the forced labor farming camps. I know a lot of that is still there. It's just hidden in that archipelago throughout the country. But specifically, going through the overall span of his reign of terror, his great leap into hell, how things ended for Mao Zedong and how he's seen in China today.
Well, Mao Zedong did rather well, unlike Adolf Hitler, but not unlike Joseph Stalin. He died very peacefully in his sleep, after having gotten rid of every single one of his enemies, including number 2 at the time, head of state, Liu Shaoqi, and very much allowing number 3, Zhou Enlai, the diplomat, to die of cancer by withholding medical treatment. So he was the one who lived a very long life and died in his sleep. How is he considered? Well, I'm sometimes told by people in China that he is still held in great esteem. But the key point really is that even at the time, while he was pretty much taking away the grain from ordinary farmers and starving them to death, those very farmers in the countryside who were being starved, who had their children taken away to the army, who were sometimes buried alive during that period, they themselves believed that Mao Zedong was a great man. And it's a very simple way of explaining that. People need hope. They believe that the man at the very top is benevolent.
They love their servitude, and once they buy into the con, they can never say they were wrong.
Indeed. It goes back to a very old traditional way of looking at things under the Chinese Empire. The emperor is benevolent, but his mandarins are crooked. The ones who carry out his orders are wicked.
Now, going back to his number 2, having his health care withheld, I had read that. I mean, that shows that in these tyrannical systems, whatever permutation they take, that it is the people that work for the system, statistically, from my grazing over wide spectrums of history, that generally the most dangerous position, just like with Hitler, wiping out tens of thousands of his brown shirts that took him to power on the night of the Long Knives, that over and over again, it is the servants of the Dark Lord that are in the most danger.
That is true to a great extent. For instance, the Cultural Revolution is extremely complex, but essentially boils down to Communist Party members purging or killing off or torturing other Communist Party members. It's a great purge within the party. And that caused something like 2-3 million deaths. But of course, ultimately, ordinary people, the ones who died in the tens of millions, are exposed, have far less protection against violence that comes from above than people inside the party. But you are right, nobody would relish to be number 2 or number 3 in that kind of system. And Lin Biao's a